Hello everybody. Thought it'd be fun to make another video about my D&D hobby, and I of course say D&D using that generically, much like how you say Kleenex when you really mean Walmart brand facial tissue, right? I don't play D&D and I haven't for a long time, but it's the same hobby and the game's close enough that I call it D&D. What I thought, so I just relocated recently, so I haven't actually played in a while. I'm in a new state, many hundreds of miles away from where I was living. I know a few people, but I don't know anybody yet who has any interest in playing. So a lot of my D&D stuff is kind of theoretical. I might do some D&D via Zoom or Teams or Google Meet or something like that with my son, my daughter, and their spouses, because we played a session or two before I left. But if I don't, I'm still only about 85% moved in, so I'm just not ready to do that yet because I haven't even found, for instance, my computer. It's in a box in the basement I keep saying basement. It's in a box. We don't have basements where I live now. It's in a box in the garage somewhere, and I haven't figured out which box it is. And hopefully we'll get that figured out shortly, because it's tough not to have your personal computer. But anyway, let me show you my D&D kit, my stuff that I have. And I've taken it all out of the backpack that I carry it in. And let me show you everything I have, and I can explain briefly why. First off, I mentioned the bag. This is the bag. I bought it on Amazon. It's a canvas and leather, mostly canvas, kind of vintage style backpack made by some random Chinese Amazon company called Gutium, I guess, which kind of sounds a little bit like an English word, but isn't really. This is what I carried in. The bag is actually surprisingly heavy, even when it's completely empty. So when it's loaded, it's a pretty heavy backpack. I'm sure it weighs a good 25 pounds when I've got everything in it. Let's see, the next thing that I carry, most iconic thing that D&D players need to have, of course, is dice. And I've got a lot of dice. I've got, in fact, 8 dice bags stuffed full of dice, and each one of them probably has 10 dice sets in it, except for the little one. Some of them might even have more. So I've got a better part of almost 100 dice sets. So if I'm ever running for people who are not into the hobby, I've got plenty of dice to go around and plenty of spares so I can mix it up and feel different every time I do it. Some of my dice, especially the ones in this bigger lambskin bag here, are metal dice. So that I can roll them and not damage the furniture, I have this dice tray. I bought this thing at Michael's. I stained it myself. I put the runes on it myself. I thought that would be harder to do than it was, but because the wood's really soft balsa wood or basswood or some other really soft wood, maybe it's even pine, whatever it is, it's soft. I just drew those in with a pen. Actually, I think I drew them in with a pencil, and then I went back over them with like an art pen or a Sharpie or something, and that's all I needed to do. And then, of course, on the bottom, I put this kind of fake leather thing so they're not just clacking on the wood. You can see these coins here. This bag is actually full of coins. This is just a sample of the kind of coins that I have in it. Because my game uses tokens, I needed something to represent those tokens, and I bought these coins on Amazon. Really like especially these, they're these kind of piratey ones. In fact, not that I need them because I have a lot, but I think I might buy one more set that are like that, but shinier gold and a little bigger. Also, to roll the dice, this is totally unnecessary, but I think it's fun. I've got this wooden dice cup. Like I said, I mean, it's not like you can't do it with your hand, but I like putting them in the cup. I think it's fun. I've also got this other dice tray. I probably wouldn't have bought this myself, because I had made this one, but my daughter gave this to me, and she bought it because it has mountains on it, and I love hiking in the mountains. And as I thought about it a little bit after she gave it to me, I thought I actually could really use this. So when I play or when I run, I get, I don't know, 4 or 5 different sets of dice out to use for the night. And like I said, I kind of pick from my big collection. My favorite are now the metal ones, though. I'm getting kind of bougie with my dice. I get out the ones I'm going to use for the evening, and I stick them in here. So this is kind of my dice stash for the night, and then I roll them here and I hold them here, if that makes sense. Underneath this, I've got just a leather journal, nothing special. It's what I keep campaign notes in, especially when I'm DMing. I've got this DM screen that I bought, and I have these inserts that I made, so it's specific to my campaign setting. I've got a printed out version of my rules, which unfortunately is version 2.1.1, so that's several minor iterations behind, so it's a little out of date. But I also have over here, this isn't necessarily something I bring, but I've got this kind of El Cheapo tablet. I actually kind of resisted getting a tablet for a long time, but I stuck that on my Amazon wish list. It was only like $50 or something, and so I can pull it up on that if I like. And then I've got also here some index cards just for taking notes, for passing notes around, stuff like that. What else do I have? I've got over here this little Bluetooth speaker, so that especially when I'm running, I can put either some creepy music or some sounds or some ambient sounds or something on this speaker, even if I'm in a travel game, because this is about the size of a Coke can, which I also have right here. So you can see they're about the same size. So it's pretty easy to bring, as long as I make sure that I keep it charged. And as you can see, it's charging pretty much all the time that I'm not using it. Actually, all the time I am using it. It's charging all the time, except when I am taking it somewhere. What else goes in the kit? Oh yes, here's my fancy pencil set. I also bought from Amazon. It comes in this cool little leather case. It's probably pleather, actually. It's probably fake leather, but you know, whatever. It's a cool set. So I do take my notes in pencil rather than pen. And I've got, you know, nice erasers. I've got extra leads. I've got, you know, all kinds of stuff. So this has been kind of cool. I bought this. Again, it's a little bit of a luxury. You can just get some dollar store pack of 10 number 2 pencils, and it will do the job just fine. Lately, because I got this and it shipped earlier this summer, I've had it for a couple months now. Nave 2.2E, Nave 2nd edition, Nave 2E. I actually backed that back when it was a Kickstarter. It shipped about 6 months late, but luckily it showed up right before I relocated, so I had a copy. I kind of think it's a good idea to toss that in my bag, especially if I'm DMing, because it's got a lot of pretty useful random tables. When I got it, I thought, wow, $35, and it's kind of slim, and you know, I'll probably never actually play it because I have my own system, which is similar enough to Nave that is like, why would I need to play it? But the reason that I was motivated to get it in the first place was because of the tables, and they do not disappoint. The tables in it make the whole thing worthwhile, even if that's all that you use. And you know, it's pretty handy if your PCs are doing something so unexpected that you have no idea what's going on. You can just take a 5-minute break, make a bunch of D100 rolls on a few tables, and you've got a lot more material for them to deal with all of a sudden. And I'm pretty good at improvising anyway. I don't know that I necessarily need that, but I carry it anyway. It makes me feel good to have the tables there just in case. Let's see. I think that's everything. Like I said, it's a little bit of a bougie DM kit. A lot of people are kind of more minimalist. I'm carrying at least 25 pounds of stuff. I've got, you know, really fancy pencils. I've got really fancy dice trays. I've got 10 times more dice than any normal person could ever need. I don't take notes in a cheap little spiral that I got at the dollar store. I actually have a nice like $10 leather-bound notebook. So it's a little bit of a bougie DM kit, I think, but I like all of my stuff, and I bought a little bit nicer stuff on purpose just because, like I said, this is kind of one of my big hobbies, and I think it's fun. I want to be, I don't know, I like having nicer things a little bit, and I'm kind of a cheapskate in normal life, so I splurge a little bit here. All things considered, as far as hobbies go, this is still pretty darn cheap. And I don't buy RPG product very much anymore. I just mentioned that I bought Knave this year. I think that may be one of the only RPG products I've bought since the beginning of the year. And of course, I'm filming this in early August. That's why I've got this fan blowing on me. Like I said, we're still kind of relocating, so I don't know, it's a little hot up here in this room, but I had to come in here because it's the only room it was feasible for me to record this right now. And it's not even completely set up yet. There's no decorations on the walls. The guest bed doesn't have its thing on it. Wouldn't it be awesome though if I had, like right here on this wall, a giant Middle Earth map, or those Larry Elmore posters from Basic, Expert, Companion, Master. I would love to create my own personal office that's kind of got some D&D themed stuff going, or fantasy themed stuff going in it. And then I can consider that part of my D&D equipment because I need it in order to work on my campaign and surround myself with the proper ambiance. How about that? But anyway, in the meantime, this is all the stuff I bring. Like I said, it's a little excessive. I don't think anybody else needs this kind of stuff. I certainly don't. I used to show up to D&D games with a pencil in my pocket and one little bag with just a couple sets of dice in it, and maybe a book under my arm, a player's handbook or something. And you can certainly do that. You could probably make do with even less. One of the reasons I did this is because I tend to run the game a lot, and I sometimes run for people who've never played before or who don't really have a lot of their own stuff. Mostly I started collecting dice because I liked them, but I also feel like it's nice to have a lot so I can let newbies with my group have dice to use for the night. And